Yeah. Yeah. Sorry, like I was like looking at just to see like if we're good. All right. Yeah, we're so good. And yeah, we have like 5 people. Beautiful.
All right. Rolling.
Yep. I can't see myself while doing this. All right. Hello. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Ridgewood Democratic Club. My name is Ocean Karim. I'm the Vice President of Communications for the Queens County Young Democrats, one of your moderators for tonight. And I want to thank everyone for taking the time out of this Friday night to join us both in person or via live stream right over here for tonight's candidate forum. You could be anywhere in New York City, but y'all chose to be here, so kudos to you for that. You can give yourself a round of applause, I guess. Or not. I would like to extend our sincerest of thanks to our lovely candidates for joining us this evening. In last name and alphabetical order, they are tenant organizer Samantha Kattan, former Sunnyside Chamber of Commerce President Melissa Orlando, and Community Board 2 member Pia Rahman. We continue to be so grateful for their commitment to the public service and look forward to a wonderful discussion of the issues that matter most to residents of New York's 37th Assembly District, stretching all across Western Queens, from Sunnyside and Long Island City, as well as Ridgewood and Maspeth. Your seat right there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but alter your name to that, yeah.
Okay. Sorry, I was hired 5 minutes ago. Not on LinkedIn. Not on LinkedIn. Good morning, everyone. My name is not Heather. It is Santiago Porras Ruiz for the Queens County Young Democrats. I will be another moderator for tonight. Today's conversation will explore the challenges facing this corner of the United States and how they intersect with the broader national issues. We recognize that there will be differences in opinions and perspectives regarding the issues addressed in this forum, just as we expect civility and decorum from the candidates. We also ask that you all respect each candidate and each other and help the model the respectful conversation important for a healthy democracy, avoiding interruption and disruption. We are all here to listen and to learn. So please help keep tonight a productive and informative event. Thank you for being here.
You need a podcast.
Good evening, everyone. I am Janet.
Oh, hold on.
Whoops. Turn it off.
Yeah.
All right.
Or,
I can also just shut.
there we go.
Okay.
Battery low. Battery low? You can shut out in the meantime.
I'm a teacher when I'm not at the Democratic Club, so I'm used to shouting. That came out wrong. I'm sorry. Okay. All right. Good evening, everyone. I'm Janet. Thank you. Janet Cardone. I am the president of the Ridgewood Democratic Club, this beautiful building that we're all in today. Thank you to everybody for coming out tonight. New York State Assembly District 37 is one of the most diverse and fast-changing districts in Queens. The district includes neighborhoods such as Sunnyside, Long Island City, Ridgewood, Maspeth, Woodside, and parts of Astoria. Home to a large immigrant and working class population, Assembly District 37 reflects the cultural, economic, and generational diversity that defines Western Queens. The district includes long-established families, new residents, public housing communities, small business corridors, and rapidly developing neighborhoods. Assembly District 37 is shaped by both opportunity and challenge. Residents are navigating rising housing and utility costs, concerns about overdevelopment and displacement, transit reliability, public safety, healthcare affordability, education, and the future of neighborhood infrastructure. At the same time, the district continues to be a center of small business growth, civic engagement, and community activism. Okay. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Okay. As a strongly Democratic district, Many of the most important debates happen during the primary process, where voters are often deciding not just who will represent them in Albany, but what direction the district should take moving forward. Dun, dun, dun. Tonight's forum is an opportunity to hear directly from the candidates about their vision for the future of Assembly District 37 and how they plan to represent one of the most vibrant and complex communities in New York State.
Thank you. So yeah, there will be more conversations and forums between now and the June primary, and I would like to share some notes with all of you about the format of tonight's conversation, as well as some ground rules that we'll be laying out. Generally speaking, each candidate will have 90 seconds to respond to each question that we ask them. If named in another candidate's answer, the candidate will have a 30-second rebuttal. So for example, if Melissa says Pia in like their answer, then you will have 30 seconds to respond to that. But that's the only case in which there will be back and forth, essentially. Candidates have not been briefed about the general topics or the questions, so they'll be going through this in like on the fly. But a lot of the questions are submitted from the audience as well as within the candidates' platform statements, so there should be some frame of reference on that overall. There will be opening and closing statements as well, during which candidates will have 2 minutes of speaking time, and there will be a rapid-fire questioning period to help ease into the conversation. First half being a little bit more lighter-hearted, and the second half being a little bit more serious, essentially. We'll have our lovely timekeeper, Sam, to let them know how much time is left on their speaking time, and the guidelines over there serve as a framework for conversation. If there's 60 seconds left, that will be the green one, 30 seconds left will be the yellow, 15 will be the orange, and the red will show that your time is up, essentially. But there is no bell that buzzes if you go like 91 seconds. But to ensure everyone has a chance to speak, and so that we can ask as many questions as possible, that the audience has like submitted over to us, we may intervene with like a thank you or some sorts. With that said, we'll start with our candidates' opening statements. We'll start with Samantha Kattan. Whenever you're ready, mic's all yours.
Thank you. Should I stand? I don't know.
Up to you.
I'll like orient towards you all. So yeah, good evening. Thank you all for coming out. Thank you to the Ridgewood Democratic Club for hosting us. I feel weird sitting, so I'm going to stand. My name is Samantha Kattan. I am running for state assembly in this district, District 37 in Queens. I am motivated to do this because I have been fighting for housing justice in New York City for over 10 years. I have worked with tenants and working class co-op homeowners across the city. I've helped tenants form tenant associations to fight against bad landlords. I've helped co-op owners do the work to maintain their buildings and keep them affordable. And I've engaged in policy fights across the state to pass stronger tenant protections that affect all of us. And I'm motivated to do this work because I believe that housing is a human right. I believe that everyone should be able to afford to stay in Queens and live a dignified life. I will also say it's very important that we elect more people to the state legislature that have that same orientation, that really want to fight for tenants and fight for a more affordable Queens. When I say everyone should be able to afford to stay here, that includes working families like mine. I have a 17-month-old daughter. That's why I'm fighting to tax the rich so we can fund things like universal childcare. It includes artists and musicians, which we have a lot of in this district, which is why I'm fighting for commercial rent stabilization, which would protect small venues and artist studios from massive rent hikes. And it's why I'm fighting for things like New York for All, and to keep ICE out of New York so we can protect our immigrant neighbors and make Queens really a place for everyone to thrive. Thank you.
Thank you. Melissa Orlando.
Thank you. Good evening. Thank you so much for coming out tonight, and thank you to our hosts. My name is Melissa Orlando, and I am your candidate for State Assembly District 37. I've lived here in the district in Sunnyside for nearly half my life. I've raised my family here. I've developed deep friendships and have served the community. I'm a single parent to a wonderful son who is a product of the public schools and is now in a state university. Like many of you, I have faced challenges around affordability. For my entire adult life, I've worked 2 jobs.
One at a local small business, Sunnyside Ballet Studio, where I have taught for the past 15 years. My work in the community dates back to 2012, where I worked on disaster relief efforts after Hurricane Sandy. Because I'm a problem solver, I like to jump right in. When we had problems with the 7 train, I started an organization called Access Queens to work with the MTA to create better transit solutions. I was member and president of Sunnyside Chamber of Commerce and advocated for the Small Business Job Survival Act. For the past 2.5 years, I've been a tenant advocate fighting for the rights of 250 tenants, including myself, who lost their homes to a 5-alarm fire after New York City's worst landlord hired a contractor that burned our building down. My campaign centers on accountability and equity, including increasing affordable and rent-stabilized housing, holding powerful landlords accountable, keeping us all safe from ICE, ensuring success for small businesses, and a cleaner and greener district. Thank you.
Thank you. Pia Rahman.
So hi, my name is Pia Rahman. I want to take a moment to honor the late Assembly Member Kathy Nolan. When she first ran, she made a commitment, and I really admired what she did, and it was to serve all constituents in this district. And when she ran on having 2 district offices in this district because of how it's geographically divided. And that is one thing that I vision while running for office, is my commitment to serve everyone. I also want to thank Ridgewood Democratic Club, especially Janet, for coordinating all of this on a Friday night. Thank you, Queens County Young Dems. Thank you, Western Queens Independent Democrats, Central Queens Independent Democrats, and Latino Democrats of New York City. I'm a lifelong New Yorker. I was born to Bangladeshi immigrants, and I lived in nearly every borough in New York City, and also upstate. And this has been my only home and my forever home. I'm a product of these public institutions. I was born in a public hospital. I worked in a public hospital. I graduated CUNY, SUNY, and New York City public schools. And during the pandemic, I worked as a dietitian in the COVID-only state hospital during the pandemic. And it made my commitment to community care and collective action. I later organized with Team AOC in their food pantry, and it opened up many opportunities for me to serve as a staffer for a lot of Queens elected officials. And I currently serve on community board too, in the Art and Culture Committee. I'm running to fight for more equitable healthcare, affordable housing, fair wages, and my campaign is guided on accountability and solidarity. So thank you so much.
All right. We'll start things off with a quick rapid fire. These are the fun ones, so y'all can chill with that. Tell us, what is your favorite MTA train or bus line, and why? Anyone can go ahead.
Mine is the 7 because I helped to make it better.
I will say, so I have access to the L and the M here in Ridgewood. I live a few blocks from here. And the L wins out. It just comes more frequently than the M and goes really fast.
The 7 train, because I think it has a lot of transfers that can allow me to go to Manhattan or deeper into Queens or anywhere else in the boroughs.
What is a song that's always on your playlist?
So we are here in Queens, and I love 50 Cent. I really love his first album. I think it is solid. And I love, what's it? Wangster. I love all of them.
I don't think I have something that's on every playlist, but I'm Gen X, so most of my playlists have at least one Beastie Boys song on them.
I definitely have a guilty pleasure of keeping up with the current young pop stars. And Olivia Rodrigo just released a new album, so I've been revisiting visiting her catalog, and I think she's great.
What is the best restaurant in the district, and what do you order?
Down the line.
Anyone can start.
I'll start. I love Super Pollo in this neighborhood. I love going there for lunch. I love going there for dinner. The lunch special is a really great deal, and their green sauce is delicious. Highly recommend.
So my favorite restaurant would have to be Bolivian Llama Party, which is in Sunnyside. So I first had Bolivian food in Bolivia during a Habitat for Humanity stint, and it is actually the only Bolivian restaurant in New York City. Highly recommend.
So it's Court Square Diner. It's open 24/7. I pretend it's my office, my campaign office, and we always get a small matzo ball soup. I get a small, my campaign manager gets a large, and they always know that, and I get a ginger ale like this. And she gets a cup of coffee to keep going, and thank you so much to my campaign manager.
Sick. Is there a motto that you live by? Anyone?
No regrets.
Once again, we are here in Queens, 50 Cent. He has so many good ones, but right now, well, I don't really want to get rich, but Get Rich or Die Trying is the album that I really love.
I guess I live by YOLO. You only live once. Try a classic. Try new things all the time.
New York 7 is one of the most diverse districts in New York State. Can you greet New Yorkers in a language other than English?
Typo New York 37.
Oh, New York 37.
Hola, Tashdelek, Namaskar.
So yes, we are also covers New York 7. So also in New York 7 and 37, I'm going to speak to Ocean right now. Kamonaso, hi, in Bangla, and to your dad.
An opportunity to highlight that I'm half Mexican, half Syrian. I speak Spanish very well, so buenas tardes a todos. And don't speak Arabic very well, but I've been learning, so salam alaikum.
What's the best thing about New York City?
Just the people, the energy, the diversity of everyone. Every time you step outside of your door, you will see something interesting, someone doing something interesting. It is the most at home I've ever felt anywhere, just with the amazing people here.
Yeah, I think the diversity of New York City is really special. What's even more special, though, is the ability for us to create a feeling of community in such a very large city.
I think it's the attitude. I love a New York state of mind, and I think you become a New Yorker when you have that drive and that acceptance that nowhere else in the world that's so diverse.
Thank you very much. That concludes the rapid fire. With all these names, we might be copyrighting. I don't know. All right, moving on to question 1. This one is submitted by Miriam Benson, and the topic is on Queens Link or Queensway. So, the future of the former Rockaway Beach branch sparks major debate in Queens with competing proposals, such as the Queens Link project, which would restore the rail service while adding public green space, and the Queensway project, which would transform the corridor into a linear park and recreational trail. Supporters of Queens Link argue it would expand transit access, reduce commute times, and improve the connectivity between central and southern Queens, while supporters of Queensway emphasize the need for green spaces, environmental benefits, and community recreation. Which vision do you support for the corridor, and how would you approach improving public transportation infrastructure while also environmental protection and conservation in Queens, more broadly? We'll start things off with Samantha to go ahead and start with that.
Sure, thank you for that, Miriam. So I really orient towards the fact that we need more public transit options in Queens definitely. And we don't have very many opportunities to create new rail lines. And when we have an opportunity where there's already tracks down, I think that is something that we should prioritize for transit. My understanding is that the proposal for the Queens Link does also make room for park space along the rail line. I do think there's a way to be achieving both at the same time. So always looking for opportunities to prioritize transit.
Thank you. Melissa?
I would actually agree with Samantha. I think it's really important that when we have the ability to use infrastructure that's already in place, even if it's decommissioned, that we should do that, right? It's so expensive to create new rail. As we've seen, and the MTA is notoriously slow with projects. So if we can use this to quickly solve a transit issue, I believe that we should. I think that there can be parks developed, along transit routes, but I don't think that we should develop a park in lieu of an available transit opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you. And Pia?
I agree. I think right now, everyone can say that transportation is an issue, that the trains are delayed, that maybe they can't see their friend in another borough. And with Queens Link, one thing that I really like about it is that it interconnects a lot of the different boroughs, the outer boroughs. And it gives access to existing parks right now, instead of people staying in one area. So I think it actually helps with access to green space.
Thank you. Yeah, all right.
Serious questions. An in-house question on immigration. Immigration remains a major issue in New York, including debates over support for asylum seekers, cooperation with ICE, and protections for immigrant communities. Concerns include family separation, detention practices, and the impact of immigration raids on public safety and trust. How would you approach immigration-related issues affecting New Yorkers and immigrant communities across the state?
Choose Melissa now.
All right, Melissa, first up.
Thank you. I think about immigration issues a lot. We live in the most diverse place on the planet, and we see so much immigration that is, a result of what we've done over the decades in terms of our foreign policy. I support New York for all. I don't believe that ICE should be in our communities. I worry about my child being confronted on the street by ICE. My child is Latino. He does not have an Anglo last name. And I am terrified when he goes outside. I do not think that we should cooperate at all on a state level with federal immigration enforcement. Thank you.
Thank you, Pia.
At this point, it's not an immigration issue, it's a human rights issue. It's a human rights issue, and we should not have ICE, local law enforcement, and state agencies should keep us safe. And we should not act as an extension of ICE. And when immigrant communities fear detention and deportation, and families become unstable, it has a trickle effect. It affects workers, it affects people trusting their government. And I know that fear. I know it firsthand. My father had the same name as one of the 9/11 terrorists, and he had to write a letter to Homeland Security saying he is not it. I know that fear in those kids when ICE is coming after their family. And at this point, it's a human rights issue. Call it for what it is.
District 37 is over 40% foreign born, so I know that the increased presence of ICE is felt very deeply. I've heard from a lot of people that there is fear that there will be even more ICE presence in our neighborhoods. I have been very active in the fight to pass New York for All, which would prohibit collaboration between local law enforcement and ICE. I spoke at a rally this past weekend about the incident that happened at Wyckoff Hospital with ICE a couple of weeks ago. So I feel very strongly that we need to be fighting actively to pass New York for All, which includes both the formal and informal collaboration with ICE, like data sharing between local law enforcement and ICE. I've also been fighting to pass dignity not detention, which would make it harder for people to enter into contracts with detention centers. Access to representation, which would give anyone legal counsel in their deportation cases, and coverage for all, which would extend state-funded healthcare coverage to everyone regardless of documentation status. The other thing we need to do, because ICE does not want to follow the law, is make sure that we're also supporting local organizing that's happening. There's lots of Know Your Rights trainings that are happening all the time. Informal groups where people are just keeping an eye out for ICE on the street so we can be protecting our neighbors right here, right now. So making sure we're supporting and amplifying that work as well.
The next question was submitted by the members of the Ridgewood Democratic Club on healthcare. The New York Health Act is a proposal to establish single-payer, universal healthcare system for all New York residents. Supporters argue the plan would expand coverage, lower healthcare costs, and ensure access to care regardless of income or employment status, especially in the absence of federal action. Critics are concerned about the cost of the program, potential tax increases, and the challenges of implementing a state-run system, including verifying residency and coordinating with existing federal programs. Would you support the New York Health Act, or do you favor a different approach to addressing healthcare affordability and access in New York? Pia.
So I am a former healthcare worker, and I believe it is my moral obligation to make sure that we pass New York for All. I believe that supporting a universal healthcare system guarantees healthcare as a human right. And I know that there's a political deadlock, and what we really need to do is keep building the coalition, whether it's labor unions that support it, whether it's healthcare workers and patients and local governments. And one way to see it is that we could also do a state-level pilot program in certain areas to see how we can make sure we can pass it across the state. It is at this point, when I talk to voters in the district and the stories that they tell me, especially our aging seniors, we have to make sure that we are treating everyone with dignity and respect. And one way to do it is to pass New York for All, and it would be my legislative priority.
Samantha?
I am extremely supportive of the New York Health Act. I also believe that healthcare is a human right. I, as someone who had employer-sponsored health coverage, still got into a situation where our health coverage changed the month before I gave birth, and I was scrambling to figure out whether all my new providers, the new network that I was in, would cover all of the upcoming expenses that I was going to have. And people should not have to be stressed about paying for health care on top of whatever health issue you're going through. So New York Health Act is a huge priority of mine. I think this is an issue where it's important and helpful to have someone with organizing experience working on this issue in the legislature like I do, because it definitely is an issue of needing to build up support and develop kind of like an inside-outside strategy to move this forward. So I would be so interested in just working to build out the coalition that is supporting New York Health Act, doing more public events about the New York Health Act through the district office, bringing more people into the movement for single-payer health care, and kind of power mapping the state legislature to see where the roadblocks are and what we can do to move more folks onto our side to be supportive.
Thank you. Melissa? Thank you. I fully support the New York Health Act. From a personal perspective, in 2011, I was diagnosed with cancer. I was very fortunate that I had employer-sponsored health insurance and that it was very good health insurance, because paying for cancer treatment can bankrupt you. No one should have to worry when they're sick that they will need to make choices about food, keeping a roof over their head, who's going to care for their children. And it's imperative that we provide people with peace of mind, with dignity, and that happens when people can access healthcare without worrying. So I would do everything as your assembly member to ensure that the New York Health Act was passed. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, our next question, before we go to the break, was submitted by members of the Latino Democrats of New York City on taxation and social services. In recent years, lawmakers have debated different tax proposals, including tax breaks for certain incomes and higher taxes on wealthy residents, such as the proposed pied-à-terre tax, amongst any other things. Supporters say the ideas can help working and middle-class families struggling with rising cost levels, but critics argue they could drive wealthy residents and businesses outside of New York City and New York State and hurt the economy. As candidates, how would you balance providing tax relief with funding essential public services like school, transit, and healthcare, but also address those concerns? Let's see, we'll start off with Samantha to start this one off.
My response, so I have worked a lot to fight to tax the rich. I do think we need to be increasing taxes on the wealthiest New Yorkers and the most profitable corporations. They are vastly undertaxed, compared to what we have done in the past. They just received a $12 billion tax break from the federal government. We need to be reclaiming more of the wealth that we are creating as working people across the state. I participated in an action at Governor Hochul's office a couple of weeks ago, calling on her to tax the rich, and this is something that I take very seriously. Right, working families are leaving New York State and New York City already because we cannot afford to stay here. So I am not super sympathetic to the argument that the wealthy will leave if we raise their taxes. I think the only way we can be serious about fighting for a lot of the things that we're all talking about tonight is if we're serious about fighting to tax the rich so that we can fund the resources and the services that working families need.
Thank you. Melissa?
Thank you. It is comical we talk about how we can't possibly tax the rich because they'll leave. New York is the financial center of the world. No one's going anywhere, right? We can't continually ask the middle class to pay more and more and more because we have to go look for somewhere else to live. We don't have the option to stay and, buy one less house or have one less car, right? We are surviving day to day. So it's really important that everyone pays their fair share. That includes the wealthy, corporations, developers who get insane tax breaks, right? We have to support the middle class, the working class, and it is the only way that the state can function and provide for everyone that has needs. Thank you.
For far too long, working people have carried the tax burden, while billionaires and corporations, they exploit the loopholes. I'm in the opinion that we should be supporting taxing some of the highest income earners to help shore up safety nets. Because there is no way that ordinary people can survive in this way at all. Absolutely.
All right, thank you so much. All right, at 7:55, we're going to go into our 10-minute break for all the candidates, decompress and everything, and then for everyone else, if they have a bathroom break. So yeah, go ahead with that. But in the meantime, while we're having this break, we also would like to have our co-hosts and sponsors to say a few words, if you like. Janet?
Please let the candidates go first in the bathroom. And thank you all for coming. And I just want to say we want to keep these kinds of events free. We do think it's very important to educate the public. That's actually part of our mission. We're not affiliated with the county party, the national party. We're an independent club for educational purposes. So if you are able to spare $5 to help upkeep the building, we would deeply appreciate it. But we do think they should be open to everybody in order to fulfill the educational mission. Thank you.
Also helping out to make this event possible is the Queens County Young Democrats. We are one of many chapters all across New York State. I'm, as you know, part of the board myself and stuff, but I also joined really recently because I want to be more involved with politics here in my home base. And joining a Young Democrats chapter has been really meaningful to me overall. I met a lot of cool people and networked with a lot of amazing folks as well. There's so many events beyond just the candidate forums. There's also socials, there's also canvassing opportunities and much more that we do. So if you're interested in joining a Young Democrats chapter, then be sure to check us out. There's membership fees for a lot of those chapters overall, but all those fees go back to you, so you can help expand more on your experience here in New York City or far beyond. So yeah, check us out. Thank you. Oh, and one final sponsor that we want to shout out is Beers Television US. They're the people that are helping us out with making this live stream possible. They have the cameras all around and everything, and people watching from home are able to see them thanks to their help and support. So thank you to Beers Television US.
Hey guys.
Hey. See, how are you?
Good stuff. How you doing? Hi, how you doing? How's everything? So far so good.
Yeah.
How's fundraising?
That you're familiar or unfamiliar?
It's not something that I'm familiar with.
Oh, first off.
You guys are doing a great job.
Yeah, thank you.
What about yourself?
The state senate forum, we ended up doing that with not Roger,
Steve Rogers. The other thing that we have going on, they have conflicts.
That's all you gotta say.
No, that's there's just so many events. That's very everyone wants to do.
Yeah, I didn't know that they had anything.
We're trying to make the round.
Maybe there's like just now.
It's about well, I heard it was like a so like even if they share like before they do anything, they wouldn't.
Really nice suit.
So that's but we're still open to do it.
Next year we
Next year is
big year.
term limits coming to us.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
They should not.
I feel like somehow they'll like
Yeah, it comes into effect next year, but then yeah, the folks are going to wait to get that staggered.
You're not
The logic behind like a lot of
for us.
No, yeah, it's going to be big. So, yeah, doing what we can in terms of how to get that be in the schools that we want now. Not that we want to get involved in the education
watch the movie as well. It's like,
I think that is
just an animated movie that it has. It's like just like a lot of the songs. I think it's like there is a song. There is a movie that they literally just did.
Oh yeah. How knowledgeable they are about the community.
So we went into the urban planning and
Some
Yeah.
a bunch of old houses that
So that's what happens when you don't have
Just watching you.
You're good. Yeah, we need to do There's an island behind you. I don't know.
He goes to like,
and he doesn't even know if he hears all those stories.
and I went
Yeah.
to,
But then he'll stand up and say something and like laugh for a while. And I'm like,
because I adored it, yeah, and then.
how you doing? Yeah. But if he would do the discussion stuff, anything that he wanted to. Good momentum, I think, to do it. Modifiable ones. Once we've got it set up.
Yeah, I have a
But then obviously like all people even outside my district.
So, where's my phone call? Yeah, but I also like live in. Yeah.
And
Well, I wouldn't.
My dad.
Hopefully we can.
Yeah, my dad's good there. Yeah. More like I'm slowly bringing him into the other part of my life. Yeah.
Parents are both Republicans, or they were both, and so had Joel got elected, and they re-registered as independents.
I was gonna say.
No, varios, junta varios.
There's more of like a Alright, hello everyone. We're gonna be starting off in like 2 minutes, so you can get everyone. Oh, I wasn't gonna do dirty. Starting off again in 2 minutes, if you can get everyone come back, please.
Yeah, that's exactly where she got it. She called it, she texted me, she was like,
2 minutes, yeah, I don't we end at 8:30. The website says 10 because they want to have like as much as possible, so it doesn't mean it's but 8:30 part is like not.
We end at what?
Yeah, right. Oh, we ended at like 4, but honestly, like they're probably. As you can see, we're putting like 2.5. So like that's why we're like 3 a lot of questions. Well, this is awesome. Just we don't have a space and we haven't that was mostly No, wait, this is
Ladies and gentlemen, we will be restarting questions. Please take your seats. 1, 2, 3, 9, candidates, please take your seats. And audience members too. Audience members like you.
starting soon, yeah.
Please take a seat in the Ridgewood RDC.
Okay, that was kind of cute. I like that.
Please pay your dues to QCYD.
Okay, that's crazy.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we will be starting shortly, so audience members, candidates, please take your seats. This message is sponsored by Delta. A good workplace to sleep here at Airline.
So much fun.
No, it's like a kid like discovers free will, you know? Wait, there's cheese balls? Oh, okay. It's gonna be gone right now. We're starting soon.
Close your eyes, make a wish, and take a seat in the Ridgewood Democratic Club. Thank you. All right. All right.
Start things off here.
This is the last one.
No, there's 6 numbered ones, and there's like a bunch of like.
There's a whole bunch of.
I only have 5 on it.
Next page. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we have a bunch of questions to go back on. You think it's over?
We made extras just in case.
We made 10.
Everybody was really fast with their answers.
Which y'all happen to be. So yeah, thank you. Yeah, you can go ahead.
All right. Back to serious questions. So, serious things. All right. This question was submitted by members of the Ridgewood Democratic Club on privacy and surveillance. As new surveillance technologies become more common, concerns about digital privacy and government oversight have grown across New York. Tools such as Flock license plate reader cameras and data analysis platforms like Palantir are increasingly being used by law enforcement and government agencies to collect and analyze large amounts of public data. Supporters argue these technologies can help solve crimes, improve public safety, and make government services more efficient, while critics warn about the potential for mass surveillance, misuse of personal information, lack of transparency, and violations of civil liberties. What steps would you support to protect New Yorkers' privacy rights while balancing public safety and government needs? We'll start with Melissa.
Thank you. So, data privacy is a huge issue. We have not kept up from a governmental perspective with advances in technology, and that leaves us all very vulnerable. And increasingly, the surveillance on our streets for every little thing leaves us very little right to privacy at this point. But we have to rein some of that in. We have to balance a need for public safety with our individual liberties. You can see from what has happened over the past year and a half at the federal level, we've been subject to data leaks and really it endangers people because our social security numbers are out there, right? People can find out anything about you, and that's because the government does not have a good handle on technology. We really need to have experts in the field working on these issues and not rely at the federal level or even at the state level on people who don't use technology probably have been in their roles for way too long and have no sense of how to use any technology at all. But we need to do something about it, and very quickly.
Thank you. Next up, Pia.
So when we live in a surveillance state, it really erodes trust in the government. And I really believe in strengthening consent when it comes to data privacy and surveillance. I was reading that at this point, they wanted to have in schools, when kids go out to the bathroom, that they would be surveilled of when they come in and when they come out. And I think that's really a level of surveillance that we don't need, and it erodes trust in everyone.
And lastly, Samantha.
As someone who does a fair amount of organizing, sort of pushing against our political establishment, cybersecurity and surveillance and privacy comes up a lot for me. I have a lot of concerns about government overreach into personal data. I think one exception that I think about are examples like automatic speed cameras. Like, I think there are opportunities to use technology like that to deal with traffic enforcement in a way that reduces the number of police interactions that folks have to have. But in general, I've been really supportive of the organizing that's been happening. This is a little more city level, but organizing to fight for more privacy in schools with student data. There's a push to put a 2-year AI moratorium across the DOE. So places where, specific places where people are organizing for increased privacy and reduced surveillance, I've been supportive of, and that's the direction I think we should go in.
The next question was submitted by Anthony Barsamian on Sunnyside Yards. The Sunnyside Yard Master Plan proposes decking over the 184-acre Queens Rail Yard to create a new mixed-use neighborhood featuring over 12,000 affordable units, union jobs, parks and green spaces, and schools. With this proposal also comes concerns over the $21 billion price tag, potential gentrification, and displacement. What is your position on the plan and why? Oh, sorry, we're going to start off with Pia.
So I really believe in making big decisions like rezoning or large housing projects co-governing. I'm the only candidate, and before any other elected official, I held a listening session when I heard that the people in Sunnyside were concerned about the development of Sunnyside Yard. What I heard from Sunnyside residents is that yes, they do want affordable housing, but is it going to be climate resilient? We live in an area that was once is a swamp, so water from underground would come. That is what I heard, and currently there is no federal funding behind this project. But what I heard from Sunnyside residents, and it covers a little bit of Long Island City, is that yes, we want affordable housing, but we want a detailed plan. And will it be climate resilient with someone like Donald Trump, who does not believe in climate change?
Thank you. We'll hear from Samantha now.
I am optimistic that we could do something really wonderful with the site of Sunnyside Yard, which currently doesn't have any housing or any green infrastructure or any community resources on it, as it is an active rail yard. There is no plan currently that says something specific about what will go there. My understanding is the verbal soft commitment from the federal government to give $21 billion to deck over the yard would keep Sunnyside Yard from ending up in a situation like Hudson Yards, where there was a private developer that spent the money to build the deck and they needed to like recoup their investment, and that's why we ended up with just luxury housing. I think there's a real opportunity with partnering with the federal government to do something very different at Sunnyside Yard and meet the needs of local residents, and I'm certain that if there's, if it kind of firms up and it moves forward, it will be a community-centered, community-led process.
Thank you. Now, Melissa?
Thank you. So I assume the question is referring to the 2020 Sunnyside Yards plan. Is that correct?
The 2020, but also it's been brought up again.
Yeah.
With Mayor Magani also putting more things.
Yeah.
We can reset the timer.
Thank you. So I was on the master planning committee for the 2020 study as the community representative for Sunnyside Yards. At that point, the community was overwhelmingly not in favor of moving forward with the development. The cost of $21 billion that is estimated now in this latest proposal, because this has been proposed many, many times over the past 70, 80 years. The $21 billion cost is only the cost of the deck. It does not include any housing. To develop housing over Sunnyside Yards will take 100 years. I think the more effective thing to do at this point is to bring rent-stabilized housing units that are currently offline, online. And we need to do that by holding landlords, corporate landlords, accountable, developing a database that lists not only by building, but by apartment, every single rent-stabilized unit, and the status, whether it is available or vacant, whether the landlord is holding it offline, and if they choose to continue to hold the apartments offline, then they need to give up the benefits that go along with having rent-stabilized apartments. I think this is a much quicker way to bring affordability to the community without waiting for decades for Sunnyside Yards to emerge. Because there is no plan right now, I am not convinced that it is the right direction to go in. My question as your assembly member would always be, how is this good for Queens? And unless you show me how this is good for Queens, I can't at this point approve.
Thank you very much. We'll now move into an in-house question on homelessness and mental health. So, across New York City, including Western Queens, many residents are concerned about access to mental health care, rising substance use, and homelessness in public spaces and transit areas. People also report long wait times for treatment, limited outpatient services, and a shortage of long-term supporting housing. Some support expanding voluntary treatment and more force-based approach, while others argue for investing in the community-based care that already exists, and more mental health clinics overall, to address underlying issues such as poverty and housing instability. What approach would you take to improving all those things, mental health services, addressing substance use and abuse, and homelessness? We'll start things off with Samantha to kick us off, right? Because, yeah.
My approach to supporting folks with mental health issues and sort of public safety, community safety in general is really focused on making sure that we're providing the resources that people need to not just survive, but like thrive and live with dignity. So I would very much focus on investing in community-based clinics. I would be very supportive of the Treatment Not Jails, or the Treatment Court Expansion Act, which would be a court diversion program to connect people who are in the criminal justice system to substance abuse support, mental health support, instead of cycling them through the prison system and then going back out on the streets. That's a lot of what we're seeing, is people cycling through that system. So really investing in community resources, supportive housing, long-term housing for people who are not accessing it right now is, for me, the most holistic and best way to approach this.
Thank you. Melissa?
Thank you. I would agree that we need much more funding for mental health, right? As we have come out of the pandemic there's been exacerbated mental health crises, and that affects not only people who find themselves homeless, but everyone. And so we really need to have specialized support based on whatever your situation is. If you are homeless, there needs to be multi-pronged approach, right? We can't take everyone's situation as the same. We have to have specialized approaches. I do believe we need to deal with when an issue happens out on the street. If it's a crime, we have to look at what the motivating factors are, right? If you find yourself homeless and you're having a crisis, that can lead to other things. That doesn't necessarily mean that you need to be incarcerated, right? People need to be treated with dignity. We need to understand their situations, and we need, more than anything, to provide help.
Thank you so much. And last but not least, Pia.
So, as a legislator, if elected, I would intend to prioritize in the budget healthcare. I believe that what we see right now is 1 out of 4 kids face food insecurity. And really for a houseless model, we have to root it in prevention, dignity and fairness, and community partnership. So I really believe in investing in supportive housing, especially our vulnerable population. What I've been hearing throughout the district is a lot of seniors are deciding whether they can keep the lights on at their home that they lived their whole lives trying to buy. And for me, it's really about building more affordable housing for seniors who are on a fixed income bracket within our district, because they're experiencing it the most in Assembly District 37.
Thank you, and that concludes our serious question portion. Now, for the moment that everybody's been waiting for, we have the rapid fire section! Yeah! Come on, make some noise. Come on.
These are serious too. That's up on that.
These are serious for the candidates. Our first question will be, do you accept any donations from corporate PACs?
Anyone can start.
Anyone can start. Anybody's game.
No, my donations are all from the community.
Yes, grassroots.
No, I accept no money from any PACs, from fossil fuel, from tenant organizing, from real estate, from big food, big pharma. Most of my donations come actually from healthcare workers because they don't have the time to volunteer for my campaign.
I have done a lot of, this is rapid fire. I'll just say no, no corporate, I was gonna do a whole thing. No corporate money, no real estate money. I have over 1,300 donors with an average donation size of $37.
Woo.
Do you support congestion pricing in Manhattan?
Anyone can start.
I do.
Overall, yes. I think there are 1 or 2 problem areas, but generally, yes.
Yes, but I also know that recently, I was born in the Bronx, so I will always care about the Bronx as well. I love all of New York State when I say this. What they saw with congestion pricing is that there's more pollution in the Bronx, but it's short term. And what we need actually is more.
Rapid fire.
Oh, sorry. Sorry, yes, I support congestion pricing, but I also want to make sure the Bronx is not being polluted more.
Thank you. All right. Question for anyone to start. Do you support eliminating or significantly limiting cash bail in most criminal cases?
I do, and there's ample evidence that I've looked at showing no relationship between bail reform and increase crime rates overall. So I'm happy with the progress we've made. Sorry, there's something about the rapid fire that like makes me want to talk more. So, yeah, I'll leave it at that.
Yes, I'm supportive.
Yes, and we need prison reform in New York State.
Next question on rapid fire. What's one quality about yourself that makes you the best candidate? Anybody can start.
I would say my compassion and commitment to the community.
Driven?
Strategic and rooted in community work.
Thank you. We'll go ahead now with our candidates' closing statements. We will start with Pia Rahman.
And you have 2 minutes.
You know what I realized I forgot to thank? Thank you, Melissa and Samantha, for being here. And thank you to all the Democratic parties, all the Democratic clubs. And then thank you, Ridgewood Democratic Club, for hosting us. It is an honor to be here, and for me, New York is a place for everyone, and it is not just me running, it is everyone, and I'm a continuation of you, and you're a continuation of me, and it would be an honor to serve Assembly District 37 in New York State Assembly.
Thank you. Melissa?
So thank you again to the organizers, and thank you everyone for being here tonight. I have a lot of gratitude that you've come out to hear all of us and be part of the democratic process. As we close out, I want to just acknowledge how that there are 3 female candidates sitting here, how that really reflects on Kathy Nolan's work. It's an honor to sit here with 2 other female candidates. I'm here to ask for your vote. I want to tell you that I'm running because I love our district. Between the 3 of us, there's not really that much daylight in our positions, but I will tell you that the only agenda that I am beholden to is community. If you vote for me, I will work for you every single day. So I'm here to ask for your vote, and thank you very much for your time, and thank you, Samantha, and thank you, Pia.
Thanks everyone for spending.
Samantha.
Yes. Sorry, jumped the gun. Thanks everyone for spending your Friday evening with us. It's true. We have a lot in common in our policy ideas and priorities. I would just highlight that I do think it's really useful to elect people to the state legislature that have community organizing experience. There's a lot of transferable skills. If you really want to pass ambitious legislation, like the legislation that we've all been talking about tonight, I think you do have to be an effective organizer. That means being good at building relationships with all kinds of people, building coalitions of support, doing political education, not just with your constituents, but with your fellow assembly members, like kind of engaging in the project and bringing people into your movement and like the work that you want to get done. That's work that I've done to help pass stronger tenant protections at the state level. And I would be so excited to be able to do that work to help pass other ambitious legislation. And I'll also just highlight that I'm excited that I'm running not just as myself, but part of a movement. I have been helping to organize in like the left electoral space for almost a decade. I think that really the only credible counterbalance to what we're seeing at the federal government with MAGA and Trump's agenda and fascism is building a strong electoral left from the ground up, and that's really the project that I've been a part of for a decade, and I see running for office as part of that.
Thank you very much. And yeah, thank you to all the candidates for being here tonight and for engaging in a thoughtful discussion about the future of our Assembly District. I also want to thank everyone in the audience, whether you joined us in person or in the live stream right over there, for just coming here and staying engaged, staying informed, taking the time out of this Friday. You could have been at a club right now, but you're here.
We are in a club.
Oh, you're right, we are in a club. Okay, we're in a club. Interesting choice, but yeah, thank you for being here, everyone.
Oh, sorry.
We have a few more things
We
to
have
say.
a few more words. Closing time. No, just kidding. Beyond, I'm going to put my serious voice now. Beyond policy differences and ideologies, what matters now is participation. Our democracy is strongest when people show up, when they vote, when they organize, and when they hold their elected officials accountable. So as we leave tonight, I encourage everyone to stay engaged, learn about the candidates, talk to your neighbors, and most importantly, make a plan to vote.
Election day is Tuesday, June 23rd, and polls are open from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. New York City also does early voting, and that will be running from June 13th until June 21st. Be sure to show up at the polls to cast your ballot for any one of these candidates and bring your friends and family there too, or you can even vote by absentee ballot, which I personally love. Thank you again to our candidates, our partners, and everyone who made tonight possible. Have a great evening and a safe trip home. And can I get a volunteer to help take pictures? We're going to take some photos now. All right, now we're done. Thank you.